All right, everybody. We are in the final round of our Modern Challenge. This is round 7 of 7. We are about to crown a top 8. Now, 67 people entered this tournament, which means most tables get to draw in. Joe Chagnon sits alone at 6-0. He knocked a player who was X01 down to X11. This means that 2 players at 4-1-1 have a chance at top 8. One of them is on your left. He's Gerard Fredette. The other one, Connor Rafferty with the worst breakers. He is not in the feature match. They both got paired down. So, Gerard starts on Forest Utopia Sprawl. His opponent, Brian Conley, who is 5-1. He wishes he could draw this round. He probably offered the draw, but it was not accepted. He starts on Mox Opal, Inkmoth Nexus, Springleaf Drum. So 3 permanents on the board for this affinity deck. Oh, look at this. Turn to Blood Moon. Utopia Sprawl named Red. Blood Moon was cast. So, Gerard Fredette with a really strong opening. All Brian Conley can muster. I believe that's an Arcbound Ravager. And a turn pass. Now, Arcbound Ravager, damn good magic card. But if you can't put the counters onto a creature land, it becomes a little less good. Main deck Obstinate Valve brings Gerard to 24. He doesn't even have to take 1 from his Wooded Foothills. Now, I was wrong. This is actually a pair up for Gerard Fredette. So he 100% has a win in. He would knock Brian Conley to 5-2. He would improve to 5-1-1. That is a masterpiece. Ornithopter goes right into play. Now, Blood Moon is good in that it shuts off the creature lands from Brian, but Brian has access to many different colors of mana. He has Mox Opal, Springleaf Drum, Springleaf Drum. Obstinate Baloth in for 4. And ooh, betrayed by his own Blood Moon, Blinkmoth Nexus taps to Gallop Blast. Arbor Elf and Utopia Sprawl. So, Gerard has all the mana he needs. He has a ton of mana. He has up to 8 mana if he wants it next turn. He needs to hit a payoff card like a Primetime or an Inferno Titan or a Tooth and Nail, whichever big mana card he's playing. And correction, I was wrong about that Masterpiece. The mono gray, weird colored cards, that's a Steel Overseer. Etched Champion comes out. Steel Overseer activates again. Ornithopter is a 2/4 flyer. Gets in for 2 damage. Inferno Titan needs to be drawn right now. That would take out Steel Overseer. Would threaten a lot of damage every turn. Stone Rain takes out a land. Arbor Elf does nothing. So now Steel Overseer will be out of Inferno Titan range. Gerard wishes he had his Ancient Grudges right about now. They're on the sideboard though. Ornithopter, a 3/5 flyer. Etched Champion, a 4/4 protection from all colors. Gerard can block neither He takes a bunch of damage. He has only 1 or 2 draw steps here. Draw. Stone Rain. Does nothing. Ensnaring Bridge would be a sweet one. I'm not sure if Gerard plays it. He says, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about Stone Rain. Fault Scourge, paying 2 life. Hey, first points of damage that have been dealt to the Affinity player, Brian Conley. Gerard strokes his beard, thinking about game 2, because look at this. 5, 9, 12. Yeah, it's only 12. You're at 3. You're at 3. No big deal. Just 3. Protection from all colors creatures. Every creature is a lethal threat. He'll draw some useless LD spell, or a land, or an Arbor Elf, or things that are only good when you're ahead, not good when you're facing down an army of robots. Army of robots. Boop, boop. Gerard goes to the board. He's looking for the grudges. He's looking for the Shatterstorms. He's looking for the Biforce. Looking for anything that can destroy an artifact or a creature. He's looking for the lightning bolts. For the anger of the gods, the pyroclasms. Just anything but these LD spells, which are at their very worst in a matchup like this. Hell, the only colored spell in Brian's deck was a Galv Blast that game. Blood Moon helped them cast it. Now, Brian, I believe this is Brian that I saw a couple months ago with his Affinity deck. I believe he was sideboarding Bitter Blossoms in the slow matchups. Not sure that he's going to do that here, but that was one of his colored spells of choice in the grindy matchup. Now, I believe he had a basic forest. So probably not Bitter Blossom. Might be something like Collected Company instead. He'll definitely want a card like Dispatch to deal with Primeval Titan or Inferno Titan, whichever Titan Gerard's choosing to run. Probably Inferno. As well as just to clear the way for an Obstinate Baloth or a Thragtusk. Now these players playing for berth in the top 8 of this month's Titanium Challenge event. The winner of this event gets entry to the Titanium Finals early next year. That's a tournament that you have to qualify for. That's going to be a sweet tournament. You get paid to participate. Every player going to get something. Top prize is going to be over $1,000. Pretty sweet. Some notables looking to play for top 8. Tien Nguyen, he's in second place going into this round. Kevin Liu, they're both playing Valakut. Devin Swindells, he's on Elves. Joe Horton, of course, Eldrazi Tron. We saw him earlier take down a Geist deck. Sean Cruikshank, the Eldrazi deck. And after that, things get a little hazy, with burn aficionados Dan Payne and Dylan Plord at the top of the standings of the X2s, who hope to squeak in. So, Gerard going to start on Misty, Arbor Elf. One of his best turn ones. He has to have an early mana accelerant. Combined with Utopia Sprawl, this threatens turn 3 Inferno Titan. Bryant, Ornithopter, Inkmoth, Signal Pest. Again, putting 3 permanents into play on turn 1. Threatening only 2 damage on turn 2, but a boatload on turn 3. And that's pretty consistent with most of the decks in Modern. I mean, you look at Elves, they're not looking to have a bomb turn 2, they're looking for their turn 2 to set up their bomb turn 3. Same with Affinity. Hell, same with Eldrazi-tron, right? They want to go Expedition Map, crack it, and turn 3 have a ton of mana. Or Ratchet Bomb, set up, turn 3 Thought Knot. And here we go, look at this. We're looking at turn 2 Inferno Titan. 4 mana. Chandra. Holy moly. Immediately takes out Signal Pest. An interesting choice, considering that the Inkmoth Nexus will be able to kill that if Brian wants it to. This says to me that Gerard has a big mana threat in his hand. If Chandra was his only threat, he would have to uptick that, I think. But Chandra lives. Brian, okay with giving Gerard 2 red mana or a free card. Brian asks, what's that? Understandable, since look at his affinity inventions. They are impossible to tell. That's Steel Overseer. That's just a pile of brown. And gray. So does he have the Inferno Titan? Does he have the Windmill Slam? If he does, this game is pretty much over. Wow. Just says go? I wonder what this means. It's not an LD spell. It's not a Blood Moon. It's not a Titan. It's not anything sorcery speed. He's representing an Ancient Grudge here. Wow, Steel Overseer. This has to be Ancient Grudge. Oh! Oh my god. This is even better than Ancient Grudge. Holy moly, Kozilek's Return. Kill your Overseer, kill your Overseer, kill your Ornithopter. Kill $100 worth of cardboard. Thanks. That was brutal. Brian left with Nexus. Wow. So Chandra rules the roost. Chandra will let Gerard draw 2 cards a turn effectively. He's going to find a Titan pretty fast. Chandra can also add 2 red mana. If he draws a Titan right now, Chandra adds 2 red mana. One, two, three, four. Brutal. See, this is when the LD cards are good. When you're ahead. Yeah, that's a scoop. Two fairly lopsided games. As is often the case with the robots, they seek to win quickly and overwhelmingly, or they get 2 for 1, 3 for 1 by Ancient Grudge, Kozilek's Return, Supreme Verdict, Pat Snap Path, things like this. If they don't win quickly, they often don't win. I like to play decks like that sometimes. We all do, right? Sometimes you just don't want to play long matches. Sometimes you go to your tournament, your FNM, what have you. You're like, you know what? I just want to cheese people. Just want to cheese them. Not to say that Affinity is not a deck that requires skill. It absolutely is. But your rounds are usually over pretty quickly. And if you're going to lose, you usually know pretty quick if you're going to lose. When the Ancient Grudge and Flashback on turn 3, and you don't have like a Glint Nest or an Etch Champion, something like this, yeah, usually pretty obvious. And now a lot of people have started putting Collected Company in their Affinity deck to try and come back from this kind of thing. I don't hate it. It's not unreasonable, right? It's usually turn 3 with the help of Springleaf Drum or Mox Opal. It has to be turn 3. You don't see a lot of people casting turn 4 Collected Companies in Modern. And what I mean by that is you don't see a lot of people building their deck so that it's always turn 4. It's not a broken card if you do it turn 4. It's a good card, yeah, it's a value card. It's only a broken card if you're doing it turn 3. Gerard has a thinker, decides to keep. Brian Conley, down to 3 cards in hand on turn 1. He vomited on the table. The start he wants, but you know what? Gerard has the start he wants. He has Forest Utopia Sprawl. That's pretty good. Maybe not as good as Arbor Elf, but hey, Arbor Elf gets Gal Blasted. Brian Conley down to 1 card in hand and attacking for 1 with a total of 2 power on the board. No, excuse me, 1 power on the board. This is not good for Brian Conley. Have to wonder what hand he kept. I'm no artifact expert, but a hand without a payoff card is tough to keep. Maybe he has a plating. Maybe his last card in hand is a plating. If so, I'll eat my words. But to keep a hand that folds so completely to Kozilek's Return is pretty tough. They'll all get in. Arbor Elf can trade with Memnite. Gerard wants. He doesn't want. He'd rather cast an Inferno Titan. I can't blame him. Will he slam it? So we can narrow Brian's last card down right now. Right? It's not Gal Blast. Would have killed the Arbor Elf. It's not Thoughtseize. Would have drawn some cards. It's not Cranial Plating. Would have gone for it. It's not Ravager. Would have played it. It's not Etch Champion. Would have played it. Not a land. He missed a land drop. So, what is it? Is it a counterspell? No, because Chandra resolves. Is it a dispatch? Maybe. It could be. Gerard to play Chandra and kills a Signal Pest. He's all about using that Chandra to kill Signal Pest, leaving his own card vulnerable. It's interesting. That the tap is really interesting from Gerard, because he could just block with Arbor Elf here if he left it up. No? Just lets it die. Gerard preserves his life total, doesn't want a Misty for a Stomping Ground, take 3. He instead will Misty for the Stomping Ground end of turn, only take 1. This comes at the cost of his Chandra, but leaves him with a living Arbor Elf. So interesting lines of play from Gerard. Now, if he loses this game because he has no big threat, if the Chandra was his only big threat, then I'm going to say, wow, you should have blocked with Arbor Elf. But we'll see. Maybe it's that Gerard has another Chandra. Maybe he has an Inferno Titan. Maybe he's replete with threats and just has plenty. But if that's not the case, I question that tap. Sprawl comes down and red is named. Again. So that forest taps for red, red, green. Red, 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 red. Red, 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 red. Alright, there it is. There's the payoff card. The Storm Breath. Storm Breath threatens to get in for 4. Gerard might instead keep it back, but no, he decides to get in for 4, and I like this play. Right? You 100% shave a turn off the clock. It's now that Storm Breath needs to turn sideways 2 times to kill if you take Monstrous into account rather. Versus not. I mean, if he has a Gal Bless, it's dead anyway. If he has Dispatch, it's dead anyway. But you have to start. You have to start somewhere. You can't give Brian infinite time to draw Ravager or a Plating or an Etched Champion, and there's the Plating. And would Gerard really have wanted to trade off his Storm Breath for a Cranial Plating Memnite anyway? I don't think so. This threatens 8 damage. Down to 7 is Gerard Fredette. This is game 3. These players playing for top 8. This is tense. Table judge Jeff watches on, making sure these players follow the rules. Everything is as it should be. Gerard Fredette counting, seeing if he can win this turn somehow. Ooh. Ancient Grudge. Ouch. This means that there will be no Monstrous this turn. Gerard will sit on the Ancient Grudge. Still 2 attacks needed from Storm Breath. We're not in 1 attack mode yet. Brian Conley still has a couple of turns, but there's an Ancient Grudge in the graveyard, and Gerard Fredette is passing without making land drops or plays. Attacking for 1 with Blink Moth. The right play is to take this. You can take 1 damage, you can go to 6. 6 is the same as 7. But Gerard disagrees with me. He's Kozilek's returning now. I think the proper time to do this would be end of turn. But he does attack phase. He does not want to fall to 6 life. He's not punished for it. Brian does not have an X2. 3 mana. Blood Moon still in the deck. Wow. 4. Brian Conley, 8 life. Wow. 4 life, Brian Conley. He has 1 draw phase. Not sure what it could be. Handshake. Brian Conley, 0 life, loses the match. Wins game 1, but loses the match to the sideboard cards of Gerard Fredette. Kozilek's return comes up huge. Even better than Ancient Grudge. That was really impressive. Rough beats for Brian Conley. He was 5-1. Every other 5-1 could draw into top 8. Brian Conley couldn't. Rough beats, Brian. If your breakers were better, you would be the one drawing. You'd have locked up the money. You'd have locked up the chance to play for the Titanium Finals invite. But your breakers were not good. And you had to play it out. And you lost to a tough matchup. One that can board an Ancient Grudge. That sucks. Gerard should make top 8. Unless something goes really sideways, he should be making top 8 here. He advances to 5-1-1. He will be the lowest seed, probably. One of the lowest seeds. But he'll be making top 8 all the same. He'll get that extra cash. He'll have the chance to play for $500. Excuse me, $400 and the invite to the Titanium Finals. So congrats to Gerard. He makes top 8. So, when I come back, we're going to have the top 8. I'm going to announce the top 8 here. And we're going to move right into our quarter final match. So check that out. In this playlist that you're watching right now, we will be crowning a champion. We'll be giving them one of the Titanium Series champion mats you see right there. And we will be officially inviting them to the Titanium Finals. Check it out. Keep watching. Thanks, everybody.